Welcome to The Daily Show. I'm your host for the week, Al Franken. I'm the ninth guest host so far and the first white male guest host. Feel free to applaud. We got a great show for you tonight. My friend Senator Lindsey Graham is joining me. Okay. Yeah. So let's get into the headlines. You know, last week I was thinking there's not going to be much news when I host. But oh boy, it's going to be an exciting week.
If former President Trump is correct, we are on the verge of something unprecedented in American history. A former U.S. president arraigned before a judge facing criminal charges.
Over the weekend, Trump claimed he will be arrested tomorrow, indicted by Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg for charges related to hush money payments he made to porn star Stormy Daniels.
The only person saying that Donald Trump will be arrested tomorrow is Donald Trump. And Trump's own spokesperson says that they have not been notified of any pending arrests.
Over the weekend, the former president spent his time on his social media platform, Truth Social, urging his supporters to protest and, quote, take our nation back.
That's right. According to Donald Trump himself, Donald Trump may actually be indicted this week. And I've got just one thing to say about that. Finally! And you know what the best thing about it is? It's happening right here in the greatest city on the planet, New York City! Wow. Wow. This is easy. You guys are great. Aren't you great? Aren't you a great audience? Aren't you the best? Oh, God. God, they love me. And I got to say, who would have ever thought that Donald Trump would be brought down by a porn star? All of us, right? It was pretty predictable. But yeah, Donald Trump paid Stormy Daniels to keep this story quiet. And here we are still talking about it 7 years later. So that would be another failed Trump business venture. Now, if Donald Trump does get arrested, he'll have to go through the normal procedure, the perp walk, the fingerprinting, and of course, the mug shot. I certainly hope that the booking officer is respectful and doesn't take advantage of the opportunity to play some, stupid joke. Mr. President, this will be your mug shot. So I'm going to snap the photo on the count of 3, okay, Mr. President? 1. Here we go. Hang on. 1, 2, hit the wind machine. 3. Now, as you saw, Trump asked his supporters to come out and protest, and they're already coming up with some fun ideas. Apparently, some Trump fans are talking about preventing Trump's arrests by forming a so-called Patriot moat around Mar-a-Lago. And I have to ask, who are these people who can just leave whatever they're doing to go physically protect Donald Trump? Nurse, you'll have to find someone else to finish the brain surgery. The president has summoned me to Mar-a-Lago to be a human moat for him. Of course, many Republican officials are also coming to Trump's defense. House Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy, Lindsey Graham, who will be on the show in a little while, and even Mike Pence appeared on the news. Sorry, the news. He appeared on the news to speak up for Trump. But one person who was conspicuously quiet all weekend is Trump's chief rival for the 2024 election, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. And Trump world put a lot of pressure on him to rally to Trump's defense. So today, he finally did, in just a bit of a backhanded way.
I don't know what goes into paying hush money to a porn star to secure silence over some type of alleged affair. I can't speak to that. But what I can speak to is that if you have a prosecutor who is ignoring crimes happening every single day in his jurisdiction, and he chooses to go back many, many years ago to try to use something about porn star hush money payments, that's an example of pursuing a political agenda.
Did I mention that this whole thing was about porn star hush money? Because it's about porn star hush money, just to be clear. Porn star hush money. DeSantis has it all. Let's move on to some international news, because Donald Trump isn't the only leader facing indictment this week. His best friend was also indicted.
The extraordinary announcement today about Russia's leader, Vladimir Putin. The International Criminal Court at The Hague issued an arrest warrant for the Russian president for war crimes, implicating him in the abduction of thousands of Ukrainian children during the war. Ukraine's president hailed the move as a historic decision, but the charges are largely symbolic.
Over the weekend, Putin made an unannounced visit to a city that Russia seized from Ukraine last year after a brutal battle.
In a surprise visit, President Putin drove himself through Russian-occupied Mariupol Saturday, inspecting newly built facilities in what's believed to be his closest tour to the front lines of this war he started.
That's right. Charged with war crimes, Putin thought it best to get out of town till things cooled down, so he packed a bag and took off to Mariupol, one of the cities in Ukraine that his army destroyed. He walked around, saw the sights, and shook a lot of hands. The hands were in a big pile on the edge of town. Putin then laid a wreath at the tomb of the unknown Russian soldier who had no idea why the he was there. For more on the war, let's go live to Ukraine with Roy Wood Jr., everybody.
Yeah, what's going on?
Roy, where are you at this moment?
Al, I'm near the front lines, and it has been non-stop shelling. The conditions are brutal. Last week, the Russians destroyed the water treatment plant, so I had to shit my helmet, and I still had to wear it the next day. They only give you one helmet.
I've been thinking a lot. Thinking a lot about this. I'm actually thinking of coming over.
Come over where? Come over here. Al, with all due respect, brother, battlefield reporting is not for 71-year-old comedians. Leave that to me and Richard Engel from NBC, who, by the way, was the one who told me to poop on my helmet. Found out later I could have just shit on the ground. Engel's a liar. You just shit on the ground. It's war. You can shit where you want.
That's well known about Engel. Roy, maybe I'm not being clear. I don't want to report on the war. I want to fight.
What? The fighting is the worst part of war. It goes fighting, then small talk with Sean Penn. Why do you want to fight?
Roy, I was born too late to fight in World War II, and there was no way I was going to go to Vietnam and Iraq and Afghanistan. No, thank you. I've been looking for a good war my whole life, so Ukraine may just be the cause that I'm willing to risk it all for, even if it means a hero's death.
Why are they clapping for you in the studio, man? The people trying to get you killed. Look, let me give it to you straight, Al. You need it straight.
I know what you're going to say. You're proud of me. But I should first make out a will.
You don't already have a will? You're 71, Jesus. Look, what I was going to say is that we don't need thrill seekers over here.
Oh, you know what? I take offense at that. I'm not a thrill-seeking. I merely want the thrill of standing shoulder to shoulder with the brave fighting men and women of the Ukraine to repel the invaders. God, that would be thrilling.
You want to stand shoulder to shoulder to the men and women. Al, don't take this the wrong way. But physically, you look like the kind of dude that if you was on the subway, a pregnant woman would give you her seat. Respectfully.
What's the right way to take that? You don't know anything about me. I could withstand any. Jesus! Whoa! That was close.
Yeah, close to me. Al, this is a regular occurrence over here. This war.
Okay. Maybe I could just do something like help evacuate the wounded.
Oh, yeah, okay. Do you have any medical training?
Well, I just had my 4th colonoscopy. You know, it's important to do that regularly. Jesus!
See nothing. We good. Everybody good?
Okay, maybe you have a point, Roy. Perhaps I can help Ukraine by, I don't know, doing a hard-hitting episode about the war on my podcast.
What's wrong with them people in the studio? Why are they clapping all the time for you, Al? You think you can help the war effort by talking about it for 2 hours on a podcast? 2 hours?
Well, not 2 hours straight. You have to do a lot of ads to monetize a popular podcast like the Al Franken podcast.
You know what? I changed my mind. Come on over here. Bring your ass on over here. I can get you on the front lines tomorrow. I gotta run. I gotta go do something.
Fantastic. Roy Wood Jr., everyone.